when you started getting into the yoga and the spirituality, did you feel a little more like, I'm just trying to pinpoint because you seem like such a confident person now. I'm trying to pinpoint when that
I
happened.
think maybe that was the changing of me. You know, the kind of stepping away from the career in London, really sort of reassessing what was important. I went to live in an ashram. So when I went back to London again, they gave me my job back. Lovely. It was so nice. I got this new kind of path of career, which was professional support lawyer. I think I did that. I thought that was the best job I ever had. I was suddenly in my skin, you know, and I was doing a lot of like, I was going to the meditation center every Thursday, doing a lot of stuff with that. I was loving the London life. And then I got asked to go to the ashram in India for that path I was on, and I was like, oh my god, I'm loving this job. I'm earning so well. I'm really liking where I live. Am I going to really do this now? It's crazy. Why is this now? And they said, I said, I'll go for a month, or I can use holiday and go for, you know, maybe a month. And they were like, no, you can't come for a month. You have to come for a minimum of 6 months. So I threw it all away. I just threw away my job and I went to India.
What pulled you, do you think? What made you make that decision?
It's so hard to say. Once you're doing yoga and, you know, you understand how much you get out of meditating and exploring the divinity inside you and inside, therefore, everybody else, you just kind of, it pulls you. You just realize there's nothing more. There was nothing better or I could be doing at that time in my life. I wasn't attached. Well, I wasn't really attached in a sense that I wanted to be. I wasn't, I had a great job and I had money, but I was going to have to forsake that, you know? Which some people would say, I mean, even my mentality as an Indian, you know, it was like, that is stupid. You know, what are you doing? But I forsook that. And I went to India. And
how old were you?
How old was I? 20. No, I was 32 then. Sorry, God, I was 32.
32. You see that?
No, hang on. What was I? I was 20. I was there for a year and a bit. Yeah, so I was 31 probably. 31.
How was your dad then?
Supportive. Quite supportive. And everyone else in my family who has done this, you know, they were like, yeah, wow, brilliant, wow, amazing.
That's amazing that you were met with so much acceptance for that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I were to do that, my parents would be like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And was it, you know, it's funny because, like, you go through life and I don't know how you perceive it, but for myself, it's like you're always wanting to get to that point, and it seemed like you had almost made it in a way.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I thought I'd made it finally.
But was it? Do you think you weren't happy? And do you think you found happiness in?
Yeah, I definitely got more. Look, if I hadn't going to an ashram it's just like, it feels like it's a blessing. It's like just on a sort of, you feel like it's a real merit. You've got there on your merit of some, whatever you've done, whenever you've done it, something really good you must have done to go there.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. And then the actual place is incredible. I mean, this ashram was, you know, an hour and a half out of Mumbai, 2 hours actually to get to, middle of nowhere, but stunning. I mean, the gardens are beautiful. And then it's been going for years and years, so it's full of this kind of really, I used to call it thick. A thick atmosphere of just really energy, you know, just really beautiful energy. I used to feel like I could hear this kind of buzzing in my ears all the time. It's like this frequency kind of thing. It's a bit weird. It sounds so weird. But yeah, and all you did there was meditate, chant, you know, wake up early, meditate. There was a lovely temple shrine place, and then you chanted an early morning chant, then you went to breakfast, or you did a yoga class, and then you had breakfast, and then you did your sort of savor, which is the service you offer when you're there, because it's, you know, it runs on people's service. So I was in the legal team, which was really nice, and I had a great boss who was an American guy. He was just and again, he'd been there for years, 20 years or something. I think he stayed there in the end. So we really hit it off. So I stayed there for a year and 3 months. And I probably wouldn't have come back unless I met my husband there. Yeah. And he was American, and he was on his way out when we met. And he then decided to look for jobs in England, because there's no way I was going to go to America anyway. And there was no way, we didn't even know if we would ever end up together. It was just one of those kind of, we thought it was really a possible thing, but he got a job. And then I felt after about being there for a year while he wasn't there, it was just only fair I came back. So I came back.
And was he also at the ashram?
He was at the ashram in the beginning, yeah.
And what was he doing?
He was doing, he was working they were building a hospital, an eye hospital, because there are a lot of people in that region who have cataracts, old people, farmers, workers, and the light is so intense, they get cataracts very early. And so they were building a hospital to deal with people like that, and just, charity.
Yeah. And when you were working on this legal team, were you getting an income?
Yeah, they give you a stipend, which kind of supports you. It's pretty. Yeah. It was comfortable enough because you get food, accommodation, all that is just covered, and then you have a bit of extra money which you can use to spend when you go shopping in Mumbai or whatever it was.
A little allowance.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely enough.
And what's something like specific that you learned there? Did it change the way you practiced as a lawyer? Did it change your outlook in life, but
it's so hard to say, because it's it's so much deeper than your career. It's so much deeper than how you then come out into the world and just decide, I'm going to do this. It's almost like it rewires your priorities. It rewires your your sense of self-worth. That's what came out, a sense of self-worth. Because it wasn't easy then coming back. I'll give you an example. I came back to that job, which they took me back again. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Wow. And it was, and they paid me really well, but something was different then. I couldn't, it wasn't like everything I did was magic. It was something had gone. It was almost like it was telling me the time was over for that. And it actually got quite difficult, because I remember having re-entry issues. I couldn't actually handle the fact that, you'd see someone in the whole, law firm, in the corridor, and they were just like, have you done that? No personal kind of like, how are you? And I was used to a much slower pace after being a year in this ashram, and talking about people, talking about how are you, what's going on, really, really connecting. And you come to this world of where it's just, power suits talking about their achievements and how they're going to kill the other side, or how much they build. And it was really difficult. So after about, I don't know how long, maybe a year or so, by maybe 2 years I did it, commuting, but because I'd bought a place in Brighton by then. It was 2003, and I bought my first. I was so tired of living out of a suitcase, in India. I wanted to buy somewhere, so I bought my flat in Brighton, and I quit. Then I think I had a son. I had Amma by then, and then I quit when Amma was 9 months, just to have some time out, and it wasn't fitting for me, that whole thing.
So it sounds like your priorities, obviously, prior to going to the ashram, was your priority more about making it as a lawyer? And was it less about, I'm wondering where the priority was before? Yeah,
it was all those things, become a successful lawyer, work your way up the ladder to partnership, all those really lofty ideals, be quite ambitious, be quite competitive. It was all very, and now I think it's quite superficial actually, but it was just on that trajectory, trying to get myself up, 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 up.
And do you think that was something that you actually wanted, or was it something that people?
I think I thought I wanted it. I think it was just the way it was. So you just thought, okay, and maybe one day I'll go and work in house. But right now I've got to go up this, and you see what everyone else is doing. Who are the rising stars? And you're trying to place yourself. You're always placing yourself in this kind of, where am I in this zoo?
And it feels like you have to.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think there's a pressure to sort of succeed in that way.
Especially when, like, as you said, the questions when you're walking down the hall, it's not how are you, it's how much did you build? How much did you do this?
Yeah.
It's like a constant comparison. And I think there's been so many times in my life when you think you want something, you get it, and it's like, maybe I actually didn't want that.
No.
Maybe that wasn't actually for me.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the priority is like, thank God you went to that place.
Yeah. And it trained me. It was, everything is a good training ground for life.
Yeah.
And it whether it trains you to be, this is what I want, or that this isn't what I want. Yeah.